Welcome back to the ranking of Naruto games, the show where I play and rank every Naruto game ever released. Over the course of these videos, we've looked at a lot of Naruto series. Ninja Council, Path of the Ninja, Uzumaki Chronicles, the Ubisoft games, Ultimate Ninja Heroes, and Clash of Ninja. Believe it or not, we're gonna start another series today. Much like the Ultimate Ninja had a handheld version with Heroes, Clash of Ninja also had its handheld series called Ninja Destiny. But today we're also gonna look at a sequel, and I've been looking forward to this one. Clash of Ninja Revolution 2. You see, Clash of Ninja Revolution was basically a port of the Japanese Gekito Ninja Taisen 3. But Gekito Ninja Taisen 4, that's a fan favorite. Considered by many, still today, the best Naruto fighting game of all time. So this must be what we're gonna play with Clash of Ninja Revolution 2, right? Wrong. It's a completely different game. But before we get into it, check out today's sponsor, a completely different store, Kaioken Clothing, where you can buy t-shirts, hoodies, or masks, and phone covers inspired by your favorite anime shows. Included this awesome Anbu t-shirt, or the Yondaime hoodie, or even better, the remixed Yondaime hoodie. Their remix section includes their own alternate takes on character designs, making them look more unique, and in fact, all the designs you find in the store are made by Kaioken Clothing themselves and are exclusive to the store itself. So you don't have to worry about getting something that everyone else is gonna have. You get to pick something cool and also unique. When you're ready to buy something, use promo code Globku at checkout. You'll get 10% off with free shipping on top of that. Thank you, Kaioken Clothing, for sponsoring this video. Ninja Destiny came out around the same time as Ultimate Ninja 3 did here in the West, which is currently one of the best Naruto games of all time, according to our rankings. That said, it's an unfair comparison, considering that this came out on the Nintendo DS and not one of the big boy consoles. And the highest handheld ranking we have so far is Path of the Ninja, which was alright. So what does this portable Clash of Ninja look like? It looks like something that's not great. Literally, it does not look great. They went for the same graphical style as their GameCube games, which is really not the best fit for the Nintendo DS. But looks are only a part of the equation. What really matters is how the game plays. As you would expect, it's a fighting game, albeit with a bit less mechanics than Clash of Ninja. You can call it a Clash of Ninja Light. You have 2 buttons for combos with a weak and a strong attack, and characters still have relatively unique movesets. So there's some stuff to be discovered every time you pick up someone new. Much like Clash of Ninja, you can use half a bar to substitute out of a combo. You can use the full bar to unleash an ultimate, and this time you can also use a quarter of a bar to teleport behind your opponent's back, as long as you're not getting hit, which is interesting. Thing is, you generate chakra so fast in this game, it's not even funny. I mean, you even generate a ton of it while the opponent is blocking your attacks, meaning with a teleport you can just keep a block string going forever if you want to. Ultimates also deal insane amounts of damage. If you thought Clash of Ninja had ridiculous ultimate damage, you haven't seen this one yet. And yes, ultimates are still unblockable in this version of the game, which means that if you time it correctly, given that you have less wake up options in this one, there's nothing the opponents can do on wake up. It's just guaranteed damage. In addition to all of that, because this is a DS game, they had to make use of the touchscreen. It's in the contract. And what they decided to do was add a bunch of random items every fight for you to use. These items can recover health, your chakra, or do some crazier stuff like giving you super armor, disabling your opponent's jutsu, or giving you 100% damage reduction. Insanely powerful stuff that only you have access to. Your CPU opponents won't be using this at all. There's some depth to be discovered with each character since they are all relatively unique, but as a fighting game, it's probably even more broken than the first Clash of Ninja. Characters' hitboxes still hit opponents that subbed out and got behind them. Some characters can just keep mashing forever because all of their moves are plus on block. It's really not that great as a fighting game, but neither is Ultimate Ninja 3 in my opinion. It's more of a party game, and it's one of the best on our list because of how good the content is. So how good is the content in Ninja Destiny? Well, I'm glad you asked. There's a story mode that starts on the final phase of the Chunin exam with Naruto vs Neji and goes until the end of the Tsunade arc. The story itself is told with text and very poor cutscenes, and it's just a series of fights with nothing unique to them. There's no voice acting, which I guess is to be expected from a DS game, but it's really not a good story mode since it's just fights. Oh, and you cannot quit in the middle of story mode because it doesn't save your progress. I learned this the hard way after playing it for 20 minutes. And guess what? Story mode was only 30 minutes long, so hooray for me. You can get it done a lot faster though if you skip the cutscenes, so within 15 minutes after starting over, I was seeing credits. Then you have battle mode, where you can just play against the CPU or play single player, which is kind of like an arcade mode. You pick a character and go through a series of fights against 8 random opponents. No cutscenes, no anything, just fight after fight after fight, and when you're done, you get the credit screen. This is how you unlock new characters. You beat battle mode with pretty much every character in the roster, which means playing through this series of 8 opponents 16 times. And also, if you really want every character, you gotta beat story mode on hard, so you gotta play story mode twice. After you have every character, I guess you can take them into wireless multiplayer, if you can find someone else with this game on a Nintendo DS. It's a pain in the butt, not especially fun, but did I do it? Yeah, I'm not happy about it, but anything for the ranking of Naruto games. Overall, it's a very light version of Clash of Ninja with somehow even less content than the first Clash of Ninja game. It's just fight after fight after fight. I think this is a bad game. We're gonna rank it at E. And below Ultimate Ninja Heroes, that had some cool team animations at least. But we're not done. We'll be right back with a highlight of today's video, Clash of Ninja Revolution 2. I don't know whether I should be laughing or crying. What the hell is this game? Let's jump into it. Clash of Ninja Revolution 2 plays very similar to Clash of Ninja Revolution. They even kept the stage transitions where you need to guess which button your opponent pressed, and they also kept the obstacles on stage, which are just a pain in the butt. However, there are a couple of nice new things too. For instance, you can now substitute without attacking your opponent, making substitutions a bit safer. It removes the wonkiness of some situations where you would substitute and still get hit by an attack. Also, guard breaks are a lot more common now. Technically, guard breaks were already present in Clash of Ninja Revolution, but they're a lot more noticeable now, with some characters even specializing in guard breaks. And when you do get a guard break, your opponent loses a bunch of chakra, so it's a cool mechanic that you need to pay attention to on top of everything else. Other than that, we saw a roster increase as well as an updated moveset for every returning character. Not all of them changed drastically, but they all received adjustments. This time, the game takes place after the end of the original Naruto series, so they finally featured Curse Mark Sasuke and Ultimate QB Mode Naruto, as well as a bunch of original characters. You see, this game's story mode does not follow the Naruto story at all. It is completely original, the whole thing is filler, except for this guy's arm. This guy's arm is canon. At some point during story mode, it started to feel a little bit like pick your Anbu waifu fantasy. Or maybe that was just me. I'm actually a big fan of the new original characters. I love their design, and even gameplay wise, they came up with some unique gimmicks for every single one of them. And story mode has received a huge revamp. This time, instead of just having character portraits talking to each other visual novel style, you actually have cutscenes with 3D models. The story itself, though, is kinda terrible. Hard to stay committed to any of it. Right from the get-go, a lot of Konoha ninja were affected by a genjutsu, and they come up with the most ridiculous reasons for characters to fight each other.
If I defeat you, I can eat all the meat I could ever dream of.
Gameplay-wise, Clash of Ninja Revolution 2 keeps story mode pretty fun too, making good use of all of its systems. It's not just a one-on-one battle, there are team battles, there are 3v1 battles, there are battles where you have to defeat a bunch of filler characters. It keeps it interesting, which takes me to a new game mode that they added. There's a 2v2 game mode where you can tag characters on the fly. These characters do not have assists, but the way you tag them in is very interesting. You can tag them in mid-combo to extend combos in a way that wouldn't be possible with a single character. You can tag them while getting hit, kind of using a risky substitution because the character will just take your place and most likely will not escape the combo, but hey, at least you saved the main character's health bar. You can switch in neutral, you can also switch on block, and every time you switch characters it costs you chakra, so it's not free, it's a resource that you have to manage. To complement this, they also added team ultimates when both you and your character on standby have full chakra. Most team ultimates are the same, just the generic animation of characters punching, but some are actually original and unique animations. And finally, if you do one of those stage transitions after your opponent has already lost a character, both of your characters will gang up on the last remaining character, putting them in a 2v1 situation. It's kinda nuts, it makes it really hard to come back, but it's also kinda funny. So far, this game doesn't sound too bad, right? It's like a Clash of Ninja Revolution with a few tweaks to the gameplay that made it slightly better. The new 2v2 game mode is also a big plus for me, and the story mode, albeit uninteresting, it's got cutscenes now. But all of this came at a huge cost. They removed online. That's right, they took out online matches from this Naruto fighting game because they needed more time to work on the story. That's what they said themselves. And I get it, cutscenes are a lot of work, but you don't remove online matches from your fighting game. You just don't do that. Nowadays, we can use Parsec, so it's not as big of an issue, but dude, that's just not worth the trade-off. What were they thinking? To make up for this, they added a bunch of single-player modes, but they're mostly just a series of fights without anything particularly interesting to them, and this is actually how you unlock more characters, which is still a better method than the old store they had, but it's just not an interesting thing to do, I guess. And balance-wise, yeah, it's still not perfect. The awakened characters are obviously a problem because they always have to be. Same for Itachi, he's too powerful in the show not to be broken. But get this one, for instance, they gave Choji a command grab. This is unblockable. This travels really far. This tracks you extremely well. This move has armor, so you can't even poke him to interrupt it. And yes, it does catch jumping opponents. What do you do against this? In conclusion, it's very similar in terms of roster balance to Clash of Ninja Revolution, but given that the roster is much bigger, that's actually impressive. I wouldn't say story mode is better, even though it's got voice cutscenes now, because the story itself really sucks. So to me, that's not a good reason to cut off the online, but I'll say that I'm actually a big fan of the new tag game mode. It's not perfect, but like everything else in Clash of Ninja, it's almost good. I can't rank this too far from the previous game, it's mostly on the same level. I'm gonna place it right above Clash of Ninja Revolution. But I'll say that if I was reviewing this when it came out without online matches, it would have been a lot lower. Thankfully, we have ways to play it online nowadays. And that's gonna do it for this episode of the ranking of Naruto games. Looking at my list here, I see 5 more Naruto games before we have to move on to Naruto Shippuden. And I've actually been playing them over on Twitch. And if you guys want to follow the process, drop me a follow on Twitch. Link down below. Also down below, you'll find a link to today's sponsor, code Globku for a 10% discount. And what sequel would you like me to cover next? Ultimate Ninja Heroes, Ninja Council, or Path of the Ninja? I kinda don't know where to put these 3. So help me out in the comments, what should I cover next? And as always, thank you very much for watching. My name's Globku and I'll see you next time. Bye.